Hey guys, Ray from PhoneArena here doing a video comparison between the HTC Windows Phone 8X and the Apple iPhone 5. On one hand we have the HTC 8X, which is one of the best Windows Phone 8 devices at the moment, and on the other we have the iPhone 5, which is of course the best iPhone ever. So this is gonna be a pretty interesting comparison and see pretty much how one of the best from Windows Phone 8 compares to the best from iOS. After we've carefully examined the designs of these two devices, we came to the conclusion that the iPhone 5 is definitely the better handset because it's just made so well. The construction is incredibly solid and the materials that Apple has used for this device are incredible. We have this very light aluminum back cover here, these nice pieces of glass here, very nice elements, and of course the front made of very durable Gorilla Glass. On the other hand, the HTC Windows Phone 8X also has a pretty decent appearance, we have to say. It has a very clean look, especially with these sharp edges here, but as far as the materials of which it is made of go, we're not really convinced that HTC has made the right decisions. The handset has this soft touch plastic coating here on the back side, which attracts a lot of dust and a lot of fingerprints, as you can see. And the trouble with this coating is that it's actually very hard to get rid of all of this these fingerprints here, which of course is not the case with the aluminum body of the iPhone 5. In addition, the iPhone 5 is definitely the handset which is more comfortable to hold in your hand and work with one hand because of its rounded corners here, whereas the HTC 8X is not bad as well because it has a relatively reasonable 4.3-inch screen, but it's just that these very or quite sharp edges here do not make holding it very comfortable. When it comes to their displays, the HTC Windows Phone 8X has a Super LCD 2 screen, which is very bright and very crisp. It has great resolution, clocks in at 342 pixels per inch, while the Apple iPhone 5 here also has a terrific screen, extremely bright, 4-inch display. It has the new in-cell touch technology, which has allowed the manufacturer to make the phone even thinner. And all in all, if we have to compare these two, both have extremely high resolution. The HTC 8X here having slightly higher res. The brightness is also very good on both devices, but the iPhone 5 has a slight advantage here, especially if you take the handsets outside. The iPhone 5 remains the more visible one. Obviously, we're looking at two very different operating systems. On the left side here we have the Windows Phone 8 OS on the 8X and iOS 6 here on the iPhone 5. Now, the home screen of the Windows Phone 8X, as you can see, is very animated. It has these so-called live tiles. The cool thing about them is that they're not just app icons here, but they show additional information if they're programmed to do so. Meanwhile, on the iPhone 5 we have this absolutely static experience here with these app shortcuts here that just sit and do nothing. They just look pretty, and this is where we would like to know that we can't really say which platform looks better in terms of design, because sure, we like how Windows Phone 8's live tiles are animated and all the transitions that that Microsoft has built into the platform. It really makes it seem very lively, and we like how it gives additional information courtesy of the live tiles. But on the other hand, these are just flat squares and rectangles here, so nothing really extraordinary about their design. They're extremely simplistic, and meanwhile we have this this interface here, which is full of color. Almost all of the icons of the iOS operating system, and as well as the third-party applications here, are very beautiful, very colorful. So it's really hard to say, but we do like the lifestyle concept behind Windows Phone 8 and how it provides information on the move without you having to go from one application to the other. We like the virtual QWERTY keyboards of both the Windows Phone 8 OS and iOS here. Maybe the portrait keyboard of the 8X has a slight advantage because it's a 4.3-inch display, whereas the iPhone 5 has only a 4-inch screen. So this is a little bit bigger and will probably be just a tad more comfortable to type on. When we switch to landscape mode, however, we get this very weird layout here on the HTC and on all other Windows Phone 8 devices. As you can see, the landscape QWERTY keyboard here does not take up the full screen width here, because we have these 3 keys on the right side, and so Microsoft wanted to keep the keyboard in the center of the device, so it has left this space here completely blank as well. And the result is that we get a keyboard which is slightly smaller than the landscape one of the iPhone 5 here, which the keyboard of which, by the way, also doesn't take the full space here. So pretty equal performance here by the two keyboards. Maybe we would prefer the one of the iPhone 5 because we don't have these keys here on the side to disturb us while typing here on the iPhone. The HTC Windows Phone 8X here is powered by a dual-core Snapdragon S4 Plus processor clocked at 1.5 GHz, and meanwhile the iPhone 5 is powered by an Apple-designed A6 processor, which is also dual core and clocked at 1.3 GHz. The HTC 8X features the Adreno 225 graphics chip, while the iPhone 5 relies on the PowerVR SGX 543 MP3 GPU. All in all, both configurations deliver extremely smooth performance. We have absolutely no complaints about the performance of both devices. They're very smooth, very fluid, and nicely animated. So this hardware is strong enough to deliver great experience and great performance in third-party apps as well. There is an important difference, however, when it comes to internal storage, because the HTC 8X comes only in 16 GB version, whereas the iPhone 5 is available in 16, 32 and 64 GB versions, although you'd have to pay a significant premium to get a higher internal storage capacity, but still the choice is there, whereas with the HTC 8X you are pretty much stuck with 16 GB and you also don't have the option to install a micro SD card. Both Internet Explorer 10 on the 8X and Safari on the iPhone 5 deliver exceptional experience when browsing web pages. As you can see, scrolling is very smooth on both devices. Pinch to zoom as well, we have no complaints, probably a few frames more on the iPhone 5, and double tap to zooming also works great on both of these devices, so it's very hard to say which one performs better, although we find the experience on the Safari browser a bit more polished, plus it's the only one now that only one of the two, I mean, that allows for full screen view when you're in landscape mode. This was previously an option on Windows Phone 8, but it's no longer here. The HTC 8X put up a very good fight when it comes to their cameras, but it still left something to be desired when compared to the iPhone 5, which manages to take more detailed photos, and plus there's some purple fringing here going on in the HTC 8X, and the exposure is not as well set as the iPhone does it. Indoors, the situation is pretty much the same, with the exception that when the light gets extremely low, the HTC 8X does have a slight advantage there. Video recording is also better on the iPhone 5 because it's better exposed, it's more detailed, and just a bit smoother than what you can get with the 8X here. Both devices are very suitable for watching video, especially now that the iPhone 5 has this new aspect ratio, which allows you to view widescreen video with no black bars. But the HTC Windows Phone 8X is a bit better, of course, because it obviously has a larger screen at 4.3 inches, which is visibly larger than the 4.01 of the iPhone 5. When it comes to listening to music, however, the iPhone's bundled earphones do a much better job than the HTC 8X's ones, even though it should be technically a Beats-powered handset, but obviously this wasn't enough to ensure a better sound quality over the iPhone 5. We are very pleased by the sound quality during calls with both devices. Both the 8X and the iPhone 5 deliver very good tones through their earpieces, and they also have very well implemented noise cancellation technologies. When it comes to their speaker phones, however, the iPhone 5 has a slight advantage because it manages to deliver louder and clearer tones. All in all, we think that the Apple iPhone 5 outperformed the Windows Phone 8X here in almost all areas, although the HTC did not lag behind too much. But this is as long as we're talking about their operating system performance, their screens, their software capabilities, although of course the iPhone 5 has access to a lot more applications. But if we have to factor in their physical designs as well, it's quite obvious that the HTC doesn't really stand a chance in this clash. And when it comes to Windows Phone 8, we really like the progress that Microsoft has made with this platform, but now that we're comparing it directly to iOS, which is one of the leading mobile operating systems out there, we do think that there is still quite a lot of work for Microsoft to do if it really wants to challenge the two main operating systems on the market, which are iOS and Android, of course. This was our comparison between the HTC Windows Phone 8X and the iPhone 5. But if you'd like to learn more about these two handsets, you can always check us out at PhoneArena.com. Thanks for watching.